Honorable Otto, you call this some bit of awakening, chasing chicken thieves. Are you persuaded
to
believe that this will be sustained?
You see, let's get to simple maths. Our budget is 80 trillion, right, Mwiru? Out of that, 9.5% of that money is going to local government, which means about 8.5 trillion is going to local government. So Balaam is chasing the 8.5 trillion. No one is knowing where the 75 trillion is. It's like if you're walking in town, you're carrying bread, bananas, and a mobile phone, and they all happen to fall down. Any reasonable person would have to pick the phone first, then you pick the banana. You can't pick the banana, then pick the Apple phone. So I see what Balaam is doing is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's like someone in intensive care for you giving that person perfume, combing the hair. It's not bad, but it's like picking the banana and leaving the smartphone. So where Uganda has reached, half of the cabinet ministers are corrupt. I can say with authority. A person like Amos Lugolobi, he removed iron sheets for Karamoja and put it on the rooftop of his cow shed. In law, that one we call it strict liability offense. Everyone sees the iron sheet in the rooftop of the cow.
He was cleared, so you can't...
Cleared? Who cleared?
You can't publicly accuse him.
He was actually cleared by court.
Yeah, now you see, I'm even coming there. So all the institutions to fight government have been compromised. We have courts of law. I am a practicing lawyer, Mwiru as well. One of these days I'll make a decision to have no business to do with the judiciary. I have gone to court myself to apply for bail. In one court, they even adjourned court, and the presiding officer called me in chambers that here bail, we do it for 3 million. I said, no, but this client has not even paid me that if you don't want to give the 3 million, we are going to give bail cash 4 million. But if you give me the 3 million, we shall give non-cash bail for 0 shillings. So the institutions that Uganda should rely on, like the judiciary, is compromised deeply. The DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, in every district, you have resident state attorneys. I don't want to mention a district. I was invited by a client. They were charged aggravated assault. And the prosecutor was saying, if the person can arrange some 2 million, they can give a lesser charge. Let your client just arrange some small money, Mwiru, and then we can just put the normal assault.
You need the Balaam there.
Yeah.
You need the Balaam there.
So the institutions of government, the judiciary, problems. The Director of Public Prosecution, problems. The IGG is reactionary. The State House and the corruption unit, you don't see them. The state, which are the Auditor General, some people have appointed their relatives in the Auditor General's office. That's why Parliament has been paralyzed. Because the person who should audit Parliament is a relative of one of the leaders of the Parliament. So the philosophical question is, who should watch the watchman? You have put a watchman there, but who should watch the watchman? You know what I think? We just need to... Capitalism will kill this society. There are certain goods that should be in the hands of the state. Education, health, religion, security. If you have traveled to different parts of the world, in the United Kingdom, US, the government cannot allow health to be run by private sector. Education, religion. Now, a traffic officer is asking for a bribe because the government does not provide for him. The child falls sick, he needs to go to Nakasero. Education, they need to pay school fees expensively. School fees per term is 1 million. The salary per month is 600,000. How don't you expect that officer to be bribed, to be corrupt? So for me, I think we need to restructure the thinking of government, that we bring back education in the hands of the state. We should have proper government schools. I want Honorable Lumumba's children, just like mine, to go and study in Upolachian Primary. So the private sector is out competing the government institutions, yet not everyone can afford. Nakasero Hospital, most of the key government officials are dying in Nakasero Hospital. They are being referred from the National Referral Hospital, Mulago, and they pass away in Nakasero. Just go and look at the mortuary book. People who have died, senior government leaders. So the private sector is doing better than the government sector. So other than government providing for me roads and police station, what does government give me?
Okay.
So the point I'm saying is, civil servants are most likely going to be corrupt if the state does not protect them, does not provide good housing, good education, good health care. And one of the suggestions, other than lamenting, I think at the local government level, we should stop, Honorable Minister, this is a recommendation, should tell the president. The other time I called the switchboard and they said they would call me back and no one called me back. I wanted to tell them corruption in another sector. The moment we recruit civil servants at local government level, we should stop the District Service Commission from recruiting people. The recruitment should be done by the Minister of Service, Public Service. Because the local government now is recruiting relatives, friends, and in-laws. So decentralization is failing. If you have 5 million, they give you a job. You have a cow, they give you a job. So we need to centralize recruitment of all local government workers so that the Minister of Public Service recruits them and then the deployment is subsequent.
I want to get to Honorable Muiru.
Yeah.
A specific case now that is headlining is about the Busega Mpigi Expressway. Engineers have been sacked. I believe you've taken keen interest in the proceedings in Parliament. The expose, how they're exposing the road, and how Biamukama, the minister now, is taking the flowers. Do you think it's getting to the heart of the problem?
Well, to start with, you know what we also need to distinguish clearly, that now there is the ministry after the nationalization, but UNRWA was a standalone. It was a vote, and it would actually account. They would even pay. Maybe what we need actually to understand that was a road which had designs for which we even were borrowing. Maybe the question would put to all of us, what were we borrowing for? Where was the other money supposed to come from? Because we started on the project. And we all know that once a contractor assembles and goes on site, once you hand off a site, even if it's not working, it charges you. Because you even realize that some of the cost, it was because the contractor had been handed over the site, he was on the site, then they had to do change of designs, so he would wait and fame is paid, because within the contract. Then even this variation of prices, the question would be, how would they arise? And how are they being approved? Actually, as they were moving on. But to me, you know, when corruption becomes an ideology of a system, because it has held the current system for so long, to the extent that now the fear that everybody thinks, someone will say, but people have stolen the government money, but the money does not get finished. Even now they think they're stealing and the money doesn't get finished, because people keep on paying taxes. So for me, what I believe that we need to try first to find out, how was that money? Because the budget, the contract, there was a contract price. When it doubled, that meant they now had to come back to Parliament for a supplementary to fund the variations they had done. You understand? But it is also normal. They have been making budgets. Then they said they gave, let's say, 50 billion to an entity. Then they come with supplementary of 50. Then I said, supplementary is like a nyongeza, isn't it? It can't be like the main course, the main meal. But it should have been doing these things, and we've been seeing them happen. So at the end of the day, as Honorable Justin said,
supplementary is supposed to be for unforeseen.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's what we're supposed to have the contingency fund.
No, contingency fund is for emergency.
That's what I'm saying. We're supposed to have the contingency fund.
You see,
but we have been abusing the supplementary.
Just to support you, I was the chair of committee. We came and inspected the northern bypass. Why the northern bypass was not getting finished. And a white man, a Frenchman, called me aside as the chair and said, you see, I've been instructed by these engineers not to proceed. And we established as a committee of parliament that the budget of the northern bypass increased by 200%. So after the project starts, these engineers write a report, the ground has changed, they ask for more money, so it is just an eating spree.
Actually, the other issue which we need to address now critically is the consultant on the road. Because for anybody to be paid, they pay based on the certificates. You like someone was telling me